Okay, we're going to talk about The Void. The Void is a new horror film that recently was released over here, well, in the UK at least. Don't know how wide it's released anywhere else. This is sort of billed as, or it just is, a old-fashioned practical effects type horror film. It revolves around a very, very simple storyline where a local sheriff finds a person injured in the road, takes them to a local hospital that's semi-abandoned because it's being closed down and moved to a new location, and then immediately he gets set upon by a cult. And by that I mean there's a collection of characters in the building, and then he goes to go outside and he suddenly finds that there's a load of people in white robes with knives not letting them leave. We don't know what the purpose of the cult is. There's a symbol of a triangle on their uniforms. They sort of got Ku Klux Klan type uniforms, but they're certainly not them. And the story goes on from there. Immediately someone dies, and you have these practical effects where a monster sort of grows out of their face and then comes and grows to a gigantic monster. And it looks great as well. They don't overshow the monsters and the creatures, but they show enough to make it gory and slimy and look horrible. There's almost like a checklist of influences you can go through with the film. And I'm not going to list them all because I can't even think of them all right now, but you've definitely got The Thing, you've got John Carpenter's Prince of Darkness, you've got Hellraiser, you've got any sort of film from like the Stuart Gordon or Brian Usna set of Cthulhu mythology films in there, because some of the monsters do look a little bit Cthulhu-like. The guy who's the main bad guy at the end, he looks like Frank out of Hellraiser. It's almost like they got the same bodysuit when he's got all his... He's not quite back, but he's got the sort of flesh without skin on it. He's been skinned. That looks really good, and he's also got the sort of weird Frank voice as well. It's worth watching. It's not the best film in the world, and the ending's a little bit ambiguous, but I think that's because they want it to be, not due to a lack of forethought. In short, you find out that the main doctor left at the hospital suffered a loss, and he turned to the occult to try and find a way to return his daughter to the world. This required a number of sacrifices and rituals, and in the basement of the hospital he's got a sort of torture parlour, laboratory, where he's been killing and experimenting on people, trying to return his daughter via occult means. This results in a climax where, after having got through the basement of the hospital with the group of survivors, well, those that are left anyway, because people drop like flies in this, he's faced off with the doctor and ends up taking him through to another world. And then he ends up there with his wife, who died earlier, in a very gory manner. It's certainly worth watching because there's no other films out there like this at the moment. The practical effects are really well done and really enjoyable. And I think it's a kind of film that should be watched, because if you don't watch it and you don't talk about it, people just won't make them, and you'll be stuck with watching Transformers films. It's short, it's only an hour and a half long, it's enjoyable, it makes you think of all the other films, but not in a, that it relates to, but not in a sort of, oh, maybe I should have put The Thing on, but it brings back fond memories, and it's a nice film for a sort of dark Friday night to watch, just with a couple of drinks and some junk food, and really just not have to worry about stuff. So yeah, The Void, watch it. Oh, the only other thing to say is there's a shot at the very, very end of the film where they clearly have a green screen background on, and it isn't needed, and it sort of takes you out the whole film, because up to that point it's been this dark, practical world they've been in, and then when they're teleported to this other land, they do it through the use of a green screen, and it just doesn't look as good, or even colour corrected, to be honest, as the rest of the film. And the only other influence I could think of that jumps to mind now is, if you ever played the game Evil Within, there's very much elements of Evil Within survival horror, Japanese type games like that as well, particularly when they're moving through the lower levels of the hospital. So yeah, check it out, The Void.